All right. Now the one thing let me put it back up here. The one thing I wanted to point out here real quick is, let's say we were going to play that C, F, G, 1, 4, 5 chord progression like we've got over here. That means that whenever we are playing this chord, the 1 chord, that this is going to be true for any key you're playing in, but in the key of C, when we're playing that 1 chord, then we want to use a melody over the top of the 1 chord, in this case C major. Our melody's got to come, and it doesn't have to, but it's going to work best if it comes from the associated scale, which would be the C major scale. But then when you go to the 4 chord, in this case we'll be playing F major, you then want to go to the F major scale and pick out of the F major scale for your melody. And then that's going to make sure that everything sounds as sweetly as it possibly can. Of course, there's some overlap between notes, between scales. You're going to find C in multiple scales, D in multiple scales. But, you know, for example, when you go to the key of F, you won't be playing B natural. Ran right through it. You'll be playing B flat instead. So if you were thinking that you could use the C major scale through all of your chord changes, you'd get to the key, you'd get to the F chord, and maybe you decide to use the 7th note of the C major scale, which is B natural. It's not going to sound good in the key of F. I mean, it'll sound good, but it may lead to problems. It depends on what else is happening in the tune. So you could really go down the rabbit hole with this type of thing. But a real good practice is whatever chord you are playing over, whatever chord is supporting the melody should come from the scale associated with that chord. C for C major, D minor for D, E minor for E, and all of that will work out real good. This rule alone will get you through songwriting without having to flip out too much. Now let me give you an example of what that's going to sound like. I'm going to move over here to the keyboard. So first of all, let me play all these different chords for you. So we're in the key of C. Oh, now where's my sound? Did I have to reset something else here? Or did I turn this down? There we go. Okay, so we've got C. I don't know how many of you play piano out there. If you are, I discover it's a lot easier to work with music theory using the visualization of a piano keyboard versus dulcimer or guitar or Native American flute, because you can see where everything is happening. So naturally occurring C major scale, starting from C and going to the octave. Our 7 different notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then there's the octave. So we're going to use each one of those notes now to build a chord. And naturally occurring without changing anything, this is what happens. First of all, your major chord is root, 3rd, and 5th. Root, 1, 2, 3, 3rd note of the scale, there's your 3rd. 4, 5, 5th note of the scale, 1, 3, 5. Now, if I take this same configuration, 1, skip, and we're going in major, boom, boom, boom. If I do it from D, and we're not paying attention to the black keys on the piano at all, because notice that the C major scale takes place completely on the white keys. So we're not even considering those at all. But by moving from here to here, now we got a minor chord with the root being D. So there we have a D minor chord. If we move again to the root, which is E, and then play the same spacing, we have E minor. Same spacing here, but starting with the root F, we now have F major. Starting with G as the root, we got G major. Starting with A as the root, we have A minor. And then starting with B as the root, that is a B diminished. It's an odd chord, but it's very, very, very much a nice chord. And then octave C. So we could play a scale in chords, not just the notes by themselves, but go like this. Every single key you play, and every key you play in, that you play a scale, if you play each of the naturally occurring chords of the scale degrees, you'll get a scale that sounds like that, a chord-based scale. So let's look at the theory of how these things work together, starting with C major. So I play a C major chord down here. So I want to use notes out of the C major scale.